Hey guys, this is Deborah back with another video for you, and I'm going to complete this page today. I did this background, or part of this background, the other day, and I've done a video on it, so I'll put the link to the video up top, so if you want to see how I did this you can. And I'm going to start today by using this tissue paper that I made. So last week I needed to go to a class and I needed some printed tissue and I didn't have any. So I thought that I'd try and make my own, and it's okay, I didn't end up using it. I actually had a different, ended up going in a different direction in the class. But I've just really used my paint and painted this tissue, and then I cut it up into strips because that's what we had to do for the class. But what I thought today is that I actually use some of this on this page so that I've make some use out of it. And I'm just laying down some gloss gel medium. Doesn't have to be gloss. It doesn't. You can use other glues. I've just got this open, so that's what I'm using. Also because I've got so much of this sort of stuff that I want to get through and actually use some of it. So I'm going to start by just putting this over. The beauty of tissue paper that I really like is that you actually can see through the tissue paper itself. Even when it's painted, it's got this really nice thing that you can actually see through it, of course, because it's tissue, so that's good. Run some along the bottom and get some of the colours here. I've just picked up some colours out of my paint pots and used them. Isn't that delicious? And I've got another bit here that I might do as well. I'm not trying to be too uniform, so I might actually tear this down a little bit. I don't want everything in the same, the same width, because otherwise that's just going to look a bit funny. So what I wanted to do now was, I've got these jelly prints that I did the other day. I found one of them, and this one here, which is kind of like this really ghostly image. It's really nice. I'm going to tear her down, and I thought I could use her on the page. I'm just carefully tearing so that I retain a fair bit of the picture at the moment, because I don't know how big or how small I want. I'm not making sure that I get the white edge when I tear away. This is old watercolour paper where I've had a failed result, so I've actually used the back of them. I also used the back of them to recycle the actual watercolour. You know, I use them to do another painting on the back, but this is the cheaper paper, so I haven't really done that with the cheaper paper. And watercolour class is finished for the year. So I wanted to put her on somehow. She doesn't have to go on that side. I don't want to cut her down too much more because I really like all this dark blackness here. I might just put her just so she's overlapping a little bit. I might have to tear her down a little bit more. She's still a little bit too big for the page. Making sure that I'm not tearing through her. Yeah, I think that's quite good. I've got to balance her out because having all black on one side is just going to be too much. I need some balance on this side of the page. And I've got another one of the jelly plate prints that I did. I've cut that down or torn that down so that it's a smaller size, and I'm putting it in here. This is moulding paste, and this will create a 3D effect. Modelling compound, moulding paste, texture paste, they're all similar. It's just thick. In other words, it'll create a texture. So you can see that it's quite thick when it's pulled out of the jar. It's not running anywhere, and that's why it's good for this sort of thing. So I thought I'd use this arrow down the bottom here, and maybe I don't want the curved one. I might use that one up the top, so I might tape that off as well. So all I'm doing is putting some masking tape on the back of the stencil so that the sticky side doesn't come in contact with my page. And I'm just taping the arrows around. So I've just taped around the arrows that I don't want. Taped over, sorry, the arrows that I don't want. And I've left the others free. So I'm going to use this one, and then I'm going to use this one as well. So I'll tape that last arrow off. It just will give it some, so that the texture paste doesn't get in there accidentally, which has happened to me before. Surprise, surprise. Okay, so I thought that if I did this arrow here in the texture, in the moulding paste or texture paste, then it's just like icing a cake. So this is white, and you can colour this of course, but because I've got the black there, I actually want this to be white. So I'm just carefully putting that down. You can see why I masked the area off, because otherwise it'd be very easy to suddenly get arrows where you didn't want arrows, or bits of arrows where you didn't want arrows. Just make sure you've got like this even sort of layer on top. Let's pull that up. There you go, that's cool. I've taped that arrow that I just used, just the back part of it, because I want to use this one here now. And you need to be careful obviously not to get the template into the texture paste or modelling paste that you've just put down. Otherwise you're going to have a mess on your hands. I might put this one down the bottom here. Actually I'm going to put this one down here so that it overlaps on that black again. Also make sure you don't scrape all of the paste out of the holes. Otherwise you'll just have a mark, you won't actually have any texture. Yeah, that's pretty good. And I think I'll just do the last one, which is this one here, and I'm just working out where I'm going to put that. I'll put this one up at the top. Don't forget, when this dries, when the other modelling paste dries, you can come back and add some more. It's just that you need to be careful that you don't get, you know, touch your stencil into the previous work. See if I can heed my own words and not wait till it dries and put this one down. You want to be careful also when you're doing it that you don't go over the edge of your stencil, because you still will, I had a bit of string in that, you still will leave a mark. This doesn't work well if you try and repair things. I'm just going to leave that now because I don't want to ruin it. I finished this one off when I wasn't on camera, and how I've done it is I've put some of the gauze down on it. This is the white gauze, and then I've put one of the Dina Wakley tissue paper words on it, so it says "Embrace the Weirdness," and I'm really happy with that. So until next time, this is Deborah. Cheers.